let's get to your first brilliant thing.
I just think that this first thing is great, and I love it, and that is a big Hearty. I can use it for free, and I pay nothing. I love it.
Oh my
Fantastic.
Goodness. What about your third brilliant thing?
I'm going to put the third one on. For those of you listening, you're going to have to go check out the YouTube video. It's a hat.
Other people around you wearing that kind of hat?
Not that many people, and that can be the one drawback here. And I was going to ask you, if I wore that as a tourist, let's just say in London or whatever city, would I get stares?
You might get some attention.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the British English Podcast, the show that helps you better understand British English and British culture. And today we've got somebody on who can compare and contrast cultures, because this guy is from the other side of the pond. He's from the United States of America. We will get into all of that and tell you all about him after saying hello to him. Connor, hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very good, very good. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedule for this one. I'd like to ask, what would you usually be doing right now if you weren't on this call?
At this exact moment, I might be doing something similar to what you're doing right now. I might be recording something.
Okay.
And once a month, I do record a conversation with another English teacher from the U.S. So I do a little bit of hosting, kind of what you're doing right now, but I can't say I've mastered the skill to your level, let's say. But I do a lot of just recording for my podcast, of course, just here in my garage, believe it or not. And so it's not very glamorous from this side of the screen, but it's good content for learners. And so I do it, and I'm happy to do that and contribute a little bit to the British English podcast, because this is what I do for a living.
Fantastic. Lovely to hear. Yeah. And we're going to go through Connor's 5 most brilliant things that he can think of. He let me know that it's 4 tangible things and 1 not so tangible. But before we go into that, so Connor, you do a podcast called Listening Time, right?
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what led you to doing this podcast?
So I started making YouTube videos years before I actually started that podcast, and going through that process of making videos, believe it or not, in other languages, teaching people English like Spanish and Portuguese, I reached the point where I said, you know what, I got to start making content in English for just whoever. And that led me to make some YouTube videos about, I would do some different types of content: grammar, pronunciation, listening, and really what stuck was the listening content. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard the idea of comprehensible input and Stephen Krashen and all that. And I was really influenced by him back in the day. And so I thought I'd make some comprehensible input for people that wanted to learn English with content that's a little less than native level, but still somewhat interesting. And so I was doing that, and I decided, hey, this format would be better in podcast form. So let me just do it as a podcast, and I'll continue with YouTube. And sure, I still do YouTube nowadays, but the podcast is really what kind of took off, and people tend to like my voice. And I guess that's maybe the number one attribute I have, is I have a pretty understandable voice, believe it or not. And I hope that your audience agrees.
You do. It's very understandable.
Great.
Yes. It's a nice voice. Well done. Well done, you. So comprehensible input, if anybody doesn't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, Connor. So this is using your environment. Imagine you're basically a baby, and you're picking up the cues from the language and the environment, and you're putting the two of them together rather than using bilingual learning or direct translation or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a big element to it. And there's also this kind of I think the equation he uses is I+1 I being your current level and +1 being like a little bit harder or more difficult than your level. So you kind of, people that will listen to me, they're not going to understand every single word and be able to reproduce all my sentences of what I'm saying, but they'll understand enough where they can kind of fill in the gaps when necessary. Once in a while, they might need to look up a word, let's say, but overall, they can get the gist of it, and the content itself serves as, I guess the education, the educator. I'm not actually teaching you grammar or teaching you these concepts. You're kind of absorbing them, acquiring them through just the natural context of what I'm saying. So in a nutshell, that's kind of how it works.
Yes.
So, yeah.
No, that's an important point. It's the ratio of unknown versus known. And was it, 90%, 95%?
Yeah, people might have different ideas about this, and I think it depends on how motivated you are. If you're just like gung-ho about learning English and you will just do whatever it takes, you can probably do almost an I+2 equation where you're just listening to content that's super interesting, but it's just like, it's definitely above your level. That might work for you. But if you're someone that's maybe not quite as motivated, you're doing this for work or whatever it may be, and stuff that's too complicated is just going to go right over your head, you might need to stick to content that you can understand probably 90% of, 95% of, possibly 85. Depends on who you ask. But I think if you're in that range, you're generally safe, I would say.
Yes. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, because I was thinking I often get between 50 and 100 phrases in my flashcards after each episode, and I'm going for 30 to 60 minutes, so it varies. But say 30 minutes for 50 words. I wonder how many words a minute though. Yeah, this is getting complicated. I'm going to back out now. Anyway, comprehensible input. All right, lovely stuff. So listening time, that would be what they would search, right, on the podcast
Exactly.
apps?
Listening time, podcast, or YouTube. It's the same name, listening time. You'll find it.
Yeah. Interestingly, I started off on YouTube like yourself, and then transitioned to podcast. I'm now finding that YouTube is somewhat much more discoverable, but yes,
That is true.
Yes, I do enjoy the podcast world a lot more. Okay, so let's get to your first brilliant thing, and if anybody listening hasn't heard any of these episodes yet, it's the concept of basically thinking of your 5 most favorite things and just having a chat about them. That's all we need to know, actually, really. So, yes, what is one of yours?
Let's start with the intangible, and everyone can define brilliant differently. I might have taken some liberty with this term, but I just think that this first thing is great, and I love it, and it gives me comfort, and that is a big hearty breakfast. And I'm not giving nutritional advice here, so no one take this to mean that you need to do it. But I'll be honest, many countries outside of the U.S. kind of skimp a little on the breakfast. I've traveled to some different places, and they give me a croissant and some coffee, and I'm just thinking, what is this? This is one of the things that's hard as maybe someone who comes from a background where I love my breakfasts.
I'd like to add that I've already used some rather advanced vocabulary that I want to teach you. So what I've actually done is created a PDF lesson pack that helps you really get comfortable with these phrases that I'm using in this episode. So I highly recommend grabbing that free PDF right now, and then we can continue the fun whilst being 3 times more likely to remember the vocabulary I'm exposing you to in this very video. To get that, scan the QR code on screen right now, or click the link in the description, show notes, or comments section. And when you click that link, it will take you to this page. Fill out your name and email so I can send the PDF lesson pack directly to your email inbox.
It's kind of hard for me to adapt. I'm pretty adaptable in other environments, in other countries, but the lack of a real breakfast is just, it kills me. So I love a big hearty breakfast, whatever you can think of. Give me eggs, give me bacon, give me pancakes, give me waffles, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I love breakfast, and I'm not saying I eat all those foods every day, but if I start out like that, yeah, I might not feel super well physically afterwards, but I feel joyful and I feel satisfied.
So you don't feel well, but you feel joyful.
It's a contradiction, but I believe that you can be physically unwell for a very temporary period of time, but it might have been somewhat worth it because it was just so enjoyable. But don't take that, don't clip that and use that as nutritional advice. But
Oh, I definitely will. That's great. So a hearty breakfast. Okay, that's a brilliant thing for you. Fair enough. So you're not satisfied with a croissant?
I mean, I love croissants, but make that the side dish of the larger breakfast meal, let's say.
Okay.
Oh, I love a croissant on the side. But key phrase, on the side.
On the side, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Are you having 3 big meals every day?
Not quite. I have 2 big meals and then kind of a small, let's say, more of a snack. And I think I've adopted a little bit of the Mexican tradition here because I lived in Mexico for many years. My wife's from Mexico. So one of the things that tends to be hard to adapt to, as I already alluded to, is the meal times, how much you eat in each meal. But once you live somewhere for a long time, you can maybe adjust and start to even feel natural following their schedule. And that kind of happened to me in Mexico, where they don't eat like a big dinner late at night like we tend to do. I wouldn't say late at night in the US, but it's typical. I remember eating a 6:30 p.m. dinner every day. My mom would ring the dinner bell and we'd go and have dinner at 6:30 every day.
I'm sorry, Connor. She would ring the dinner bell?
Yes, very old school in that way. You probably won't see that in people's houses nowadays, but I remember the little tink, 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 and that would mean come for dinner. Yes.
Did you have did your family have a very big property?
No, it was more of a little gimmick, a little fun thing, just to kind of, just for the laughs, let's say.
I suppose it's nicer than food's ready.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. It was much more pleasant. It was like, there we go. That's a good alarm, not the the one that wakes you up.
Makes me think of what's the salivating dogs?
Oh, is it Pavlov or am I getting that wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pavlov's dogs.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So you were basically a Pavlov dog.
Exactly. It was 6:30. I start salivating when I hear that bell, and that's when we would eat our biggest meal of the day. No TV, no devices. Well, I'm a little bit older, so at that time there weren't that many devices, but we would just sit around the table, old school, like in the movies style, and talk about our day and eat this big meal, which I'm really thankful for. But nowadays, I don't really want to eat my biggest meal that late. Just, digestive stuff and, better sleep. It might be easier to, on your belly and on your sleep, to maybe eat more earlier in the day. I've talked way too much about nutrition so far, and I'm not a nutritionist or a doctor in any way, but this is just how I feel.
I will agree with you that I've heard that it is better to eat bigger meals in the middle of the day rather than at the end.
Sure.
Yeah. Not to sleep on a full stomach.
Right.
Okay, but you still like a hearty breakfast, and you've always liked a hearty breakfast?
I have.
Okay.
Some of my greatest childhood memories are waking up on, let's say, a special, maybe a Saturday morning, or maybe it was a special occasion, and we would have maybe something that we wouldn't always have, perhaps crepes, like German crepes with I think they're German crepes with the powdered sugar and the lemon juice inside. And if I have that, I immediately get this just huge blast of nostalgia. And I think of my childhood. A lot of those nostalgic experiences revolve around food for me, about tastes and stuff like that. Kind of like music brings you back. Certain tastes kind of bring me back to my childhood, and breakfast is definitely plays a big role in that. Breakfast foods. Yeah.
Did you have a big family, or do you have a big family?
No, I did not. I always wanted a bigger family, and I'm working on it right now as a dad, giving my kids the siblings that I didn't necessarily have. But no, it was just the four of us, kind of a typical American family, and we didn't always sit down to every meal together. I don't want to paint that picture, but we valued breakfast, at least on the weekends, holidays, vacations, things like that. Yeah.
So you and one sibling?
Yeah, me and one sibling, an older sister, exactly.
An older sister. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, like me, you've got an older sister. I've got two older sisters, but I don't have any brothers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, nice family time around the meal time. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about around this brilliant thing of the hearty breakfast? Oh, I did actually want to ask you this.
Oh, yes.
Have you had a full English breakfast?
I have always heard about this, and I like reading. That'll actually come up in the future. Oof, I'm foreshadowing here, but I like reading British literature from Agatha Christie or even older Charles Dickens, and a lot of times the English breakfast, I think is the phrase for it, right? That's used, and I've always wondered, man, what would it be like to actually enjoy a true English breakfast? And I'm not quite sure what it consists of, but I hear it mentioned, and it just sounds epic. It sounds good. The full English breakfast. That sounds sounds great.
Yeah, because it's definitely hearty.
Nice.
I mean, you almost have a heart attack after. Give me your second most brilliant thing, Connor.
Okay,
if you would.
I already kind of mentioned that I like reading, so this one is somewhat tangible in the sense that I can show it to you. So it's an app. You're not going to be able to really see a ton right here, but this is just a screen just to show that I'm actually talking about an app here, an app called Libby, and there are other ones like this, I believe, but this is a library app where I can use it for free as long as I have a library card at a local library here in the U.S. I can access the online database and check out library books as if I were there in person, and I pay nothing. I pay zero. So instead of paying to have this audiobook or this Kindle version book on my device, I just kind of check out the book for a few weeks. I can even renew it if necessary, and I don't pay anything, and when I'm done, then the next person can go check it out. I love it. It's really revolutionized the way that I read and listen to audiobooks. So,
oh my goodness.
Fantastic. Yes.
Oh my goodness me. So, for anyone listening who wants to enjoy it, do we have to be in America?
That might be the issue. Do you have local libraries where you sign up for a card? Do you have that system there or no?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
It might work then, because that's really all you need is you need a library card number. And I don't know if it's not going to accept the number from some other country or not, but at the very least, any library card in the U.S. suffices, and that's all you need. And to get a library card is free. At least here it is. So you might be able to do it. Might be worth checking out.
I'm just doing it right now, and it says there's a library near me that this could work on.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. I spend so much money on Audible.
Wow. Well, if you really want to keep the books, sure. I mean, because you keep those books, right? Once you're actually buying them. So if that's important to you, then obviously this app isn't for you.
Really? As soon as I've listened to it.
Right. In audiobooks, I mean, with physical books, you might want to put them on your shelf. It looks nice. It could be like decoration. Audiobooks, a lot of them, it's just kind of like, all right, done. Let me get on to the next one, right?
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's worth trying. I didn't really listen to audiobooks before I started with this app, perhaps 2.5 years ago or so.
Right.
But when I started it, I realized, whoa, there are some really good narrators that perform. It's like a performance. It's really good. It really gets you into the story. So I like both. I like physical books. I like reading, and I also like audiobooks now. If you're against audiobooks, just give it a try. You know, it doesn't cost any money, and you might be able to.
This one definitely doesn't cost you any money.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of the audio, the quality of audiobooks is outstanding. It's like a real, a blockbuster in audio format, some of them.
Yeah.
And
it's
you get
not
some
me
really
talking
good...
into this microphone reading a script. No, it's full on performance. Yeah.
Yeah. I go through phases in life of wanting fiction and non-fiction.
Okay.
A lot of my non-fiction, I would say, is quite highbrow, a bit boring. Like the forming of like the geography of the landscapes around us, and like how like the seas and stuff, and the rock formations, and then like a short history of man, those kind of things. But then I go through these waves of wanting just to be a bit like a child again. And I listen to audio when I go to sleep. So I sometimes I recently went back to Harry Potter, the audiobook, and then I went to The Hunger Games and started listening to the audiobooks of that, and that's quite good as well.
All right. Don't sleep on fiction. A lot of people, when they're adults, they kind of get it in their brains that reading is only for learning. And I would say that you do learn from reading fiction, but it could just be a great pastime, a great hobby.
Yes.
I honestly just do it for pleasure. It's actually something that I, like you mentioned, maybe I do before I fall asleep, or maybe I'm driving or whatever it may be. And why not enjoy a story, but actually kind of make yourself work a little bit for it and feel good about it, not the same thing as just, plopping down on the couch and turning on, whatever it may be, and then it just feeds you. You kind of got to do a little bit of work, but that adds to the satisfaction of it, and it's great. So don't underestimate how enjoyable it can be to actually read or listen to fiction. I know a lot of people just aren't into that, but you just got to find your genre, find your author.
Yes.
There's something for everyone.
So you mentioned Agatha Christie.
Yes.
Any others?
So, okay, well, my fiction might be a little bit highbrow, as you guys might say. So I do like the classics. I do like the kind of books you'll read in high school. I don't know about you guys, but in high school, we might read books like A Tale of Two Cities or things like that, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And for a lot of people, it strikes fear in them to just think they have to read that book like they did in high school. I like that kind of stuff. I actually secretly enjoyed reading that fiction in high school, whereas everyone else was mocking it and looking up the spark notes, as we say, and not really reading the book. I actually secretly enjoyed reading all that classic literature. So Agatha Christie's great because it's somewhat classic in the sense that it stood the test of time. It's 100 years ago or so, but it's mystery. Who doesn't like a good mystery novel, a good detective, so that's kind of maybe a good, let's just say a low, what's the phrase I want to use? It kind of helps the barrier of entry come down a little bit so you can, get into older fiction more easily. So something like that. If you're up for a little more of a challenge, I really love Charles Dickens. So I already mentioned A Tale of Two Cities, David Copperfield, Oliver Twist. Those types of books are really great if you just give them the time and the patience they deserve. I know you kind of have to work for it a little bit, which a lot of people don't like to do, but it's worth it in the end.
Okay. Are there any audiobooks? I'm sure there are for Charles Dickens stuff.
Yes, there are, definitely. The only downside of this app is it works like a real library. So if the book is checked out and there are no other copies, you got to wait for it. And this is kind of the little, I don't know why they have this, but for some reason,
it's software. So why?
I don't know. And it's not like they're selling you. I haven't really seen upgrade to this version to get, unlimited free audiobooks. I don't know why they do it, but they just, I guess, are keeping the library feel to it.
Yes.
That's the one annoying thing, I will say.
Maybe it's a licensing thing.
Could be.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they just can't allow that many people to read for free at the same time, perhaps. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know why, but it's the one little non-brilliant thing about this brilliant thing that I brought.
But it does bring the library kind of style back to it, and it makes you appreciate a copy. If you have to wait for it, it increases the likelihood of you sticking it out and working hard to appreciate
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. It kind of makes you more just conscious of, I got to read this book. It's going to be due soon, So
and the reverse. You've only got 3 weeks, right?
Right. You can renew it, so you can extend that. But normally each turn is like 3 weeks. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay, that's nice. I feel like I'm getting to know a little bit more about you. The fact that you really like your reading and your audiobooks and your hearty breakfast.
Yeah, don't forget that. Yeah.
Would you combine the two pleasures?
Ooh, it's hard for me, and I don't think I've done that. When I eat breakfast, the only multitasking I might do besides talking to my family is watching cooking videos where the person is making food, which just for some reason makes my food taste better. When I'm eating food and I see someone else cooking delicious food, it kind of enhances the flavor of my food.
Right.
That's the only multitasking I'll do.
Does it have to be the same meal?
No, I can be eating scrambled eggs and I'll watch them preparing a big juicy burger and it makes my eggs taste better. It gives me, it makes me more hungry as well for my meal.
You don't look at it thinking I'm about to eat, but it's egg.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just that looks good. I'm eating. This tastes good. I'm hungry. It's not very, let's just say, an intelligent connection between the two, but it works for me. So, but I do not combine reading with breakfast. Actually, I keep those two separate.
Okay, good to know. You've got some boundaries set for these pleasures. Yeah. Okay. What about your third brilliant thing?
All right.
Connor?
I'm going to put the third one on. For those of you listening, you're going to have to go check out the YouTube video, the video format of this podcast to see what I'm wearing. But I will tell you, it's a hat that has one of those coverings for your neck. So basically, if you're going out on a hot day, this will suffice to pretty much protect you from the sun from the neck up. And a lot of hats, even like sombrero type hats, if the sun is at the wrong angle, you're still going to get it. The neck is still going to get burnt. With this, you can pretty much cover it for most times of the day. Only when the sun is really low, it's going to hit your face. But in that case, you're not really getting burned at 6:30 p.m. or something like that. So it's fine at that time. I included this because I like going outside. I like hiking. I like being outdoors. I like being at parks. And for those of you just listening, you can't see me, but I don't have the most sun-resistant skin. So because of that, I'm either forced to, number one, wear sunscreen, which is one of the worst experiences ever. I hate putting sunscreen on. It's just terrible. It feels horrible. It makes your skin all greasy. I hate it. Or I can cover up and wear this hat and hopefully wear long sleeves. And then I can just go out. I don't care what time of day it is. I don't have to worry about the sunscreen. And I can enjoy myself in any weather. So that's why I included this one.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I, too, hate sunscreen. What do we say? Sun cream. Sun cream. Yeah.
Yes, that's a different phrase for you guys or a word for you guys, right? Yes.
But I can't imagine many people love sun cream. I mean...
No.
Maybe it moisturizes your skin. No, I think everyone doesn't.
No.
I don't think anyone likes it. But I see the convenience of that hat.
Yes.
Are other people around you wearing that kind of hat?
Not that many people, and that can be the one drawback here. And I was going to ask you, if I wore that as a tourist, let's just say in London or whatever city, would I get stares? Would these guys look at me and call me some weird bloke or whatever term you guys might use to describe me? Would I get some strange stares?
You might get some attention.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So here it's a little bit more natural. If you're like on a hiking trail, you're at the beach. Yeah, that's a little different. But I will sometimes even just take this out into the city. And yeah, it looks a little excessive. Like, what is this guy doing? Did he just come back from, some type of trek or something? But you know what? I'm old enough where I don't care that much about how people, view my appearance at this point. I'm just kind of, I'll put on what's comfortable, try to look decent, but it's not the end of the world if I get a couple stares, let's say.
Yeah, nice. My brother-in-law actually mentioned that after becoming a father, he felt like he let go of that ego kind of feel of being judged of what you look like at any point in time.
Oh, yeah.
So, as this is the free version of the episode, we're going to leave it here for today. As always, I have gone ahead and created a load of resources to help you not just understand the language, but be confident in using them correctly yourself. The most comprehensive version of these resources that I have made for you is available by joining the Academy, where you'll get vocabulary breakdown videos, interactive exercises, weekly Zoom classes with me, and personalized writing feedback, again, directly with me. I highly recommend giving this membership a go because I offer a money-back guarantee. And I've been building it for over 6 years now and refining it as I go. It's now better than it ever was. The community is thriving and leveling up their English as I speak. And we're all having a lot of fun together. Plus, it's the main way to support this show. So if you like listening to the episodes, then joining the Academy helps me continue with the weekly broadcasts. To find out more, go to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/academy. Option 2 is to join the premium podcast, where you can unlock the full version of over 250 episodes, along with the official transcripts, extended glossaries and flashcards. Again, the membership really does help support this show from going under. And for that, go to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/premium. And then finally, I have made a free resource for this episode that goes over some of the essential vocabulary in a way that helps you to get active with your studies. So you can scan the QR code on screen right now, or click the link in the show notes, description box, or comments section to get your hands on a lesson pack that will 3x your likelihood of remembering the phrases I exposed you to in today's episode. So if you click that link, it will take you to this page. Fill out your name and email so I can send the PDF lesson pack directly to your email inbox for free. But yes, we will leave this one there. Thank you very much for listening to the end of this. I appreciate your listenership. Have a lovely week. My name's Charlie, and I hope to see you again soon on the British English Podcast. Bye for now.